You got to know the European history. If you've been colonized, you got to know the European history because that's what they're going to teach you. So you got to know the European history. And as you learn the European history, you know what's truth and what is lies. You know what is holy and you know what is wicked. And as you learn more about the European history, you learn that most everything that they do is majority wicked. And what makes it wicked is because they use Christianity. They use, and they call it holy. That's what makes it really, really wicked, because they use God. If they didn't use God, I wouldn't be saying what I'm saying. Because they use God, and they call themselves the Holy Roman Empire. This is how you know it's wicked. Because it doesn't match the Spirit of God. So if it doesn't match the Spirit of God, it don't come from God. It comes from the devil. Now, everything that you watch, it's not always fairy tales. A lot of stuff is real, like Snow White. Her real name was Margaretha von Waldeck. And she was born in 1533 in the Roman Empire. She was a German. Anytime you see Roman Empire, think of Nazis. Nazis. She was born amongst Nazis, the Roman Empire, which was in Germany. And she died in 1554. She was poisoned at 21. She died of poison. Snow White didn't make it alive. She died by her wicked stepmother. She was poisoned. So, Margaretha von Waldeck influenced the movie Snow White. Walt Disney, this is where Walt Disney gets the story of Snow White. Walt Disney was born in the United States, but his mother and father was Germans. They come from Germany. Okay? So, bloodlines matter. Walt Disney's parents is from Germany, so he can speak the language. And so, the Jews who are in Israel are not real Jews. They speak Germany, Yiddish. Walt Disney speak Yiddish. And his family were not good people. They were German Nazis. So with that said, when you have been colonized, you should know the European history. And since the European history, they call it holy, you should be able to match it with the character of God. And when you match it with the character of God, this don't fit the Word of God. Their whole entire history don't fit the Word of God. Not even close. They don't even fit the stories of the Old Testament. Their characters are way off. It's the opposite of God. The reason why I'm bringing up Snow White, Margaretha von Waldeck, because tonight, the new movie of Snow White comes out. And a lot of your parents are going to take your kids to see Snow White. And y'all think it's fairy tale, but she is not a fairy tale. She actually died and she was poisoned. And her real name is Margaretha von Waldeck. And she was German, born in 1533 in the Roman Empire. Study history. History is important. How do you know if you're being lied to? History is important. And with that said, they will delete history. But history is always going to be out there. You have to research and study history. It's very, very, very important. And some of these things is not always fairy tales. There's truth to it. And you have to get it from somewhere. Some of these ancient some of these superhero movies, like Marvel and stuff like that, comes from ancient scripts. It's not a person on drugs just come up with a story like that. Like Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is real. The story of Wonder Woman is real. Her name was Queen Khalifa. Queen Khalifa. That's where Wonder Woman comes from. That's where the story of Wonder Woman comes from. the Wonder Woman. The real Wonder Woman was Queen Khalifa. Know your history. Very, very important.
Margaretha von Waldeck was born 1533 in the Holy Roman Empire. Margaretha von Waldeck, 1533 to 15 March 1554, was the daughter of Philip IV, Count of Waldeck-Waldungen, 1493 to 1574, and his first wife, Margaret Cirksena, 1500 to 1537, daughter of Edzard I, Count of East Frisia. One author theorized in the 1990s that her life influenced the fairy tale of Snow White. It is said she is buried in Brussels, where the Place de la Bourse/Beursplein is now located. According to Bad Waldungen city documents, she was famous for her beauty. Since 1539, she had a very strict stepmother, Katharina von Hatzfeldt, 1510 to 1546, and perhaps soon after Margaretha was raised at Weilburg at the court of Philip III, Count of Nassau-Weilburg. In 1545, she traveled through the Siebengebirge Seven Hills to live with her mother's brother Johann Cirksena, 1506 to 1572, at Valkenburg Castle, in present-day Limburg, Netherlands. In 1549, her father sent her on to the Brussels court of Mary of Hungary, governor of the Habsburg Netherlands and sister of Charles V, Holy Roman Emperor. Margaretha's presence at the court was partially meant to improve the relationship of her father with the emperor and help the release of Philip I, Landgrave of Hesse, who had been imprisoned in Brussels for his role in the Schmalkaldic War. The situation at the court was complicated as several high-ranking personalities were striving for Margaretha, including Lam Orel, Count of Egmont. Charles V's son, Crown Prince Philip, arrived at his aunt's court in 1549. Tradition has it that he pursued Margaretha during the few months he was there, though there never could be any official relationship. As she was Lutheran, 3 surviving letters from Margaretha to her father show that her health declined steadily over the next few years, and she died at the age of 21 in March 1554. In Waldeck Chronicles, it was suggested that she had been poisoned. She is likely buried in Brussels, where the Place de la Bourse/Beursplein is now located.